Cameras?
Okay. Flamini?
Yeah.
Handley?
Yes.
Lopez?
Here.
Mars?
Here.
Moore?
Here.
Zimmers?
Here.
That is 6 present.
Okay. Ms. Johnson is not here. She had a little health issue, and she's at the hospital, and I think she'll be fine. But like I said, we're thinking about her, and I think everything will work out perfect. So just want to let you know Ms. Johnson will not be here. President's comments, public comments will occur during the public comments portion of the meeting. If you are interested in addressing the board, fill out the required public participation at board meetings form and submit it to Ms. Mitchell, who's in the front row, but she's out there, so.
Ms. Hankins will take
Yeah.
that.
So, okay, a couple things tonight in President's comment. It is summer, so we hope kids are getting their education, reading books over the summer is always a big thing. And we've got some sad news. Mr. Sanders, it's his last meeting tonight. He's probably going to be celebrating. What's the countdown? Official days?
9 days.
9 days, so.
It's easy now.
Well, Mr. Sanders, I want to thank you for everything you've done for the district. I know you've become a good friend of mine and really helped a lot of us out here learn a lot. And thank you for your service to the district, and you will be missed. So
Thank you.
also, another note, I have to let everybody know, today Mr. Blake Hanley has told me he will be moving out of his sub-district. So next board meeting in July will be his last board meeting. So at that time, we will discuss moving forward how to replace Mr. Hanley. So I won't go into everything. Thank Mr. Hanley for all his hard work, but he's been a great board member of North End, a strong voice over there. Nothing but compliments for Mr. Hanley. So if you want to say something, or you want to wait till next meeting?
Next meeting.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So just want to let everybody know that. So other than that, I'm good on president's comments. So we're going to move to board salutes. Mr. Flamini?
None.
Okay. Mr. Moore?
Don't have any.
Okay.
Okay.
Nope, those kids are waiting.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, we got
All right.
those out there.
Well, let's start with the recognition of the Lanphier High School track and field. So if I can have Coach Garcia or Coach Tony Daniel come on up. Coach, I'm going to hand you these, and if the athletes are here, if you can call them up and tell them what they, how they did at state and all that good stuff.
Anything else you wanna
And you can
tell
use
us?
that podium right over there.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is that the-
This year for the girls track and field team, I've been coaching for the last 7 years, took over the girls track program. This year was the first time in my 7 years coaching the girls that we had some girls go down to state and also come back with some state medals. I thought they had a great accomplishment this year. The 4x1 set a school record that's been standing for a long time. They ran 48.26. And also our 4x200 meter relay team set a school record also at 147.01. Those two great accomplishments that we had this year. Also, I'd like to acknowledge my 4x400 meter team. It was consisted of all freshmen. They ran 4.3.15 at the state meet. The school record was 4.3 flat. They was real close. I would like to introduce my girls in 4x1, the state qualifiers. They took 6th in the state. Jalen Mojo was our leadoff leg. Come on, Jalen. Followed by my second leg, Ashley Farmer, which is going to be a senior. Great accomplishment. Also, Ashley qualified in the Open 100, ran her fastest time in the state meet, which is a great accomplishment. We peaked at the right time. I'm not sure if that was coaching or the athletes. Jada Reddy, my third leg in the 4x1. True freshman. Tell you about Jada. She goes out there and works her hardest. You might see her in the school and think, wow, this girl can run, but she gets out there and give her all. And we appreciate her as a freshman. And my anchor leg, without a good anchor leg, sometimes you're nothing. We have Martrice Brooks on the anchor. Also, Martrice Brooks qualified in the Open 100. and also ran her fastest time in the state meet. And also she's on our 4x400 meter relay team that qualified for state also. So I appreciate those girls along with the rest of the team, and hopefully we'll be back next year and doing better, bigger things next year. So I appreciate y'all for acknowledging us.
If there's any family in the crowd of these young ladies, would you please stand up? Thank you.
You did a great job. You know that?
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good job. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Good job. Congratulations. Good to see you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Great work.
All right. Oh, hello.
No, they're getting a picture real quick.
Do you want to call the boys up too? Yeah, if you can. It'd be great if you can. Thank you.
Also, we want to acknowledge a couple of guys from the boys track team. Mike Garcia is not here today. I'd like to recognize Darius Herring. He finished 9th in the long jump, 6th in the triple, 5th in the 400. So he was a trifecta at the state track meet, and also he was there last year. Darius Herring. And also, Jairus Jackson qualified in the open 400. He was 4th in the state. Jairus Jackson. All right.
What was your time in the 400?
Oh, I qualify for the 100,
For the 100?
Oh, the 100, okay.
What did you end up with?
10-9.
All right.
Is there any family in the crowd for you guys?
All right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
for
Good
coming.
job. Thanks, Coach.
And I don't see Joe Bunch.
Is Coach Joe Bunch here from Springfield High School?
Nice. But what about Ozzy? Is she here? Is Ozzy here? She's coming?
Okay. You want to read what you Oh,
Here she comes, come on up.
come on up.
All right, Ozzy, we'd like to recognize you, Ozzy Orwele, for the 5th place in the 100-meter dash. So congratulations. She ran that in 11.92. Let it be noted, that's a lot faster than me.
Do you have any family here?
You have any family here?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Is your sister going to be a runner too?
No. Her older sister is.
All right. So next is we're going to recognize Southeast High School girls track. If Coach Montgomery can come on in. Are they coming in? Great. All right.
Do you want to set it? You want to set it down?
You can sit right there.
Wow.
Coach, I'm going to hand these to you, and you can podium just tell them how great you guys did this year. Put you right over there.
Thank you.
I know you've done this before.
I get nervous every time I do it. It doesn't change a thing. Hello, how's everyone doing?
Good. Fine.
I'm Barb Montgomery, head coach of Southeast Girls Track Team. This year we came in 3rd place overall as a team. We had some ups and downs. My staff is fighting some breast cancer, so I have some members who are not here. And so it's been a trying year, but through it all, they hung together and they made it work at the end. So we have just a few of our members here. Our 4x1 finished 2nd overall in the state. Our 4x4 finished 5th overall. Raven Moore finished 3rd in the 200, 4th in the 400. Dontavia Howard was a part of the 4x1 as well as Raven and Serena Bolden. Dontavia also did the 100 hurdles and the 4x4 as well. Kaylin Florence, who is not here, is a freshman. She's also a part of the 4x1, the 4x4, and the 300 hurdles. So we have a young team. We're losing 4 seniors, but we have a very young team, and they're going to work hard for us. So we have Serena Bolden, long jump, triple jump, third in the triple, fourth in the long, right? Ooh, it's hard to try to recall all that stuff after I put that, had the summer off. We have Alyssa Ashford, who has been a part of everything you put her in this year. Kayshana qualified in the high jump and the pole vault. And Brianna, who is also a part of our relays as well. So we just would like to take this time to definitely thank you guys for always honoring us and taking care of our young people when they do well. We know that we're in a time where things are not going as well as they should be, but we have some kids who are still rising to the occasion, and this district is at the forefront of trying to protect our young people and make sure they get the things that they need to do to keep striving.
Ms. Montgomery, how many years in a row have your teams medaled? Because I know you've medaled almost every year for the last,
Every year but the last one out of 8.
Okay.
And we took a break in between our first, and then we've had third place the last 3 years.
Okay, well, that is fantastic.
Thank you.
Is there any family here also for the ladies?
Stand up. Be
Stand up.
recognized.
There.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you.
Great work, very great work.
All right, we're going to recognize Wolf Memorial Athletic Fund, and we're going to turn this over to Mr. Sanders.
Thank you, President Lopez. Members of the board, I'd like to recognize at this time the Wolf Family Foundation. And so we'd like to have the members of the contingency of the Wolf family, that seem to be all here, to come up to the front. Jan, if you'd like to get to the podium and just quickly describe the history of the Wolf Foundation for the folks, and then I'll talk about exactly what the Wolf Foundation has done during the last 21 years for our student athletes of District 186.
I really didn't have anything planned, but I'll try and go back. At the golf outings, I always told everybody about what we've done. Rich, for you that don't know him, Rich Wolf, he was teacher and coach in the district for 30-some years. He died in May 20th, 1996, and at the time of his death, I received a lot of monetary memorials, not sure what to do with them, so we just decided to start this memorial fund. And it got off to a good start. We did a couple different fundraisers, but the main fundraiser was always a golf outing we held every year. And I think we did it for 19 maybe. I don't think we made it to the 20th, but we did it for 19 years, and it was our only fundraiser. And it proved to be really well. We usually cleared about $5,000 or $6,000 every year for it, so it built up in the fund. And when Rick asked me to go back and make a list of everything that we had given and the amount and so forth, I even impressed myself. Like, you can't imagine how it all adds up over the years. And I think the bottom line was something like, what was it, 60,000 maybe, something like that. So, and it just was for different things. I decided to just leave it at athletics rather than academics, since Rich was a coach and he used to do a lot of out-of-pocket things. He was a very successful basketball coach. We're real proud of that. Stacy and Jeff have always worked side by side with me to keep the golf outings going, and Rick really promoted the fund almost the whole time through the district. He was the one that anybody needed anything, he would always call on us, and I don't think we've ever had to refuse anybody for anything over the years, so it really went well. I noticed when I was looking back in a lot of the monetary gifts that we gave, a lot of them were to individual students. students for sports camps or things like that. Sometimes it was just for athletic shoes or gym bags or whatever it was they needed. So it really touched a lot. It wasn't just the schools, but we're real proud of some of the bigger items that we donated, like the golf cart to Springfield High, which I understand the principal uses a lot now. We did an indoor pitching mound for Lanphier High School. We've done just countless. That's some of the most recent. Oh, the football benches out at Memorial Field. That was something that Rick got us involved in as well, and that was very nice because now those benches are there and they have the Memorial Fund on the back of the bench, so it's there. We did something with the that pit down there, the shot put pit and all that in Memorial Field as well. So we bought a lawnmower for the cutting of the field. No, we didn't do the lawnmower. We did striping machine. So a lot of different ways the fund helped out, not just for the actual students, but anything that benefited the athletic programs. So I'm very proud to have had this fund. We decided to stop the golf outing because the numbers we weren't getting them every year, and I wanted to go out basically on top with the golf outing. I didn't want it to just have a handful and not be worth the money and the time that we put into it. But I decided to leave the fund active. It's an actual non-for-profit. I file a tax return for it every year. I'm just going to let it run until all the funds are used up. So, and then when it is, I'll have my accountant close it down however we do it, but we'll run it down to the last penny. So Rick's successor will know how to get in touch with either Stacy or myself, and anything that's needed, we'll certainly consider it and hope we can continue to do it for a few more years. So
Well, certainly the district has appreciated everything that the Wolf Foundation has been able to do, even up to this year with baseball starting at Washington and Grant.
Right.
You know, the donations there have helped connect the dots and make sure that kids can have equipment moving forward. So over the last 21 years, the foundation has donated $60,000 to the student athletes of District 186, and we certainly want to recognize that. And it's been an honor to play in the golf outing and also to know Rich. I know, Mike, you've had a lot of competition many years ago with that between Grant and Washington. So it's been a real honor to know the family, work with each and every one of you, and also to continue working with the fund as we move forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I also want to thank you because Mr. Sanders, when we started up the basketball tournament at Lanphier High School the first year, he's to reach out to the Wolf Foundation, so you guys were helping us start the basketball tournament at Lanphier High School. So we were able to see that as a plus. So thank you again for everything you guys done and helped out the district.
And for your service to the district in general. If you want to introduce your family,
Yeah.
obviously I know Stacy.
She's Stacy Thorson now, and she's at Springfield High. Jeff used to work at the district in the maintenance for several years, and this is my grandson Austin,
Nice to
who
meet you.
never knew his grandfather Rich, but he knows the tales, don't you? He knows all the stories about it.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
We've
so much.
always-
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to 4.1, old business. Do any board members have any old business? Okay. Hearing none, we're going to move to 4.2, committees. I know Ms. Johnson brought this up, and I know we talked about it in the past, so we have it up there, and I know you guys all got a list of the boards that board members are on, who's on them. So does anybody want to discuss those, or is everybody happy what board they're on? So just kind of, everybody knows. I know Ms. Hammers will have this, so if you have any questions or about meetings or anything, that you guys have a list of who's on what boards. So, is there any discussion about any of that? All right, great. 4.3, new business. Do any board members have any new business? Okay.
I don't think even Rick is in the crowd, so
Yeah.
we're good.
From there, we're going to move to 4.4, student business. Won't have any.
She graduated.
Yeah.
One's on the way.
She's gone.
Rick is not here tonight.
Yeah, so there's no presentations to the board. Flying tonight. 6.1, Ms. Gill, Treasurer's Report.
Okay, Mr. Basco?
President Lopez, members of the board,
The district ended the month of May with a cash balance of $14.2 million in the bank for all funds. Earned interest for the month was $10,700, and interest earnings year-to-date are $212,000. We also have a total of $3.5 million in investments, and through the end of May, our line of credit outstanding balance was $5.4 million.
Thank you. Moving 7.1, Superintendent's Report. Ms. Gill.
All right, well, mine kind of backs up Mr. Basco's report a little bit. At this time, as you know, with the state's budget crisis, it's affecting school districts greatly across the state of Illinois, so we're certainly not the only one that are facing these things. But I believe at this point in time, it's prudent for me to give you an idea of kind of where we are with the budget and what kind of deficit we're facing. So, Mr. Basco, jump in if you want to clarify at any point, but I think we've gone over the notes well. By July 1st, we're going to be owed $10.2 million in categorical funding by the state if we don't receive any additional funding at this time. We've only received one payment of our mandated categoricals this school year. If there is no budget prior to July 1, we enter into a time that we've never seen before, and that's where we won't be getting our general state aid on a regular basis. So we face the idea of losing general state aid, which is about $3.6 million per month. We don't get those in July, but they start again up in August when students are in attendance. So we could be, by 1 month into school, into September, early October, at about $17.4 million owed by the state. And those are all approximate numbers, but that'd be about where we feel like we would be at this point in time. Providing comprehensive programs to our students is vital. There isn't any one program that we provide or that we think would not really reach the full child. A lot of times the media will ask me, well, what are you going to start cutting? What do you cut and where do you cut where it doesn't either affect somebody disproportionately to another group of students, or it wouldn't just, really devastate a student in terms of their ability to, especially high school students, in order to gain credits and move on to college and career. And sometimes it's the extracurricular things that provide the incentive for kids to come to school and also provide them an avenue for scholarship and participation in college. So these would be devastating decisions to answer. So we're just not ready to answer that question specifically. But we know that at the current rate, if the money were to be bleeding, so to speak, at that same amount rate, we don't think we could make it much beyond December without a budget being passed. And then we would be in a situation where we have spent down our reserves. Another effect that this does have is our bond rating. While the district has taken drastic steps in the last few years to maintain balanced budgets, we've increased our cash reserves in an effort to improve our bond rating. Our state finances have contributed to our rating not being upgraded as we would like, even though we've been making positive progress. People like Standards & Poor's also look at the state of Illinois overall and don't rate us high just because we are a part of the state of Illinois. You saw that recently with our kind of the issue with our state lottery and the mega ball and all that kind of stuff, is that when we get to that status, they just don't rank anybody high because you're in the state of Illinois. A continued state budget impasse will probably result in a lowered rating for our district, making it even more expensive to sell bonds. The Illinois State Board of Education financial rating over the last 3 years, the district financial score has risen. We went from 3.0 watch on a 4.0 scale to 3.45, which has increased us to review status, which is a positive step in the right direction due to our fiscal responsibility. But the budget impasse could decrease our cash on hand, and cash on hand and the fund balance are two numbers that actually contribute to our overall financial score. In addition, there's proposed property tax freezes on the table that will also negatively impact revenue coming in. Our property taxes are currently based on the EAV, or Equalized Assessed Valuation of Property, and based on the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index. You know that we're a PTEL district or tax cap district, so we look at the number of 5% or the CPI every year. Whichever one of those two is lower is the percent that we apply for our property taxes. This year, the CPI in our area has increased to 2.1%, which is what we hope to get from our property taxes. If we are frozen from last year, then we'll be at 0.7%, which could be about a $1.9 million loss that we could realize if we were able to use the new CPI, but we won't if we're tax capped at 0.7%. Just so you have an idea, last year our entire property tax amount was about $9.1 million. So the only thing we would be able to realize next year under a property tax freeze would be new property, which we think would be about $400,000. So we'd go from 1.9 million to 400,000 being the additional amount that we could realize. If we gain, and if they were to sign Senate Bill 100, which we know, I think that the governor has said that he will veto that. However, we would, in Senate Bill 1, get $1,045,000, but if we lose $1.9 million in property tax freezes, we're still at a net loss of $800,000. So, you know, it's just something that I wanted you to be aware of, and that's coupled with mandated categorical backlog payments of $10.4 million, as I stated earlier. Just so you know, out of the Ed Fund, which is how we spend most of our money across the district for salaries and for everything that we do, the local take for property taxes is about 48%. The state portion is 35%, and the federal portion is 17%. At the same time that we're talking about state issues, we're also addressing comments and ideas that are coming from the federal government as well. We've heard ideas like cutting Title II completely. And if we cut Title II funds Part A from the federal budget, that is about $2 million that we receive annually for basically teacher professional development across our district. So all of the work we do with our symposiums and substitutes and extra hour stipends would be greatly affected by a loss of $2 million. We also are hearing about Medicaid freezes for the district. That's about $1 million, and that's reimbursable dollars for people like that provide audiology services and visually impaired services. So at the same time that we're having state dilemma, we're also seeing federal concerns as well. So it's just a time to, you know, be a little bit in awe of what's happening in front of us. So that's kind of an overview. You know, right now, we are just, we remain hopeful and cautious, but yet beginning to prepare. And once again, we'll have some districts across the state that won't even be able to open up their doors. And right now, State Board is saying that you should open your doors and spend your fund balance down. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to, or statements you'd like to make.
Well, I mean, I think we're starting to hear that the legislators need a pressure point. K-12 education will be the pressure point that probably gets them to settle. I think that's what they're pointing toward. I think both sides now, so they can get a settlement, because, you know, people are not going to allow schools to not open. And, you know, it's good for State Board of Ed to say open your doors, but the truth be known, we're going to be okay for a while till, you said December. Some schools will not be able to open their doors because they're in a deficit already.
Right.
So, people, you need to get on social media, on your Facebook, on your Twitter, every possible thing that you can do, and talk to your legislatures. Property tax freeze is not good for us. Not passing Senate Bill 1 is not good for everybody downstate. I mean, it just isn't. Most districts, you know, Champaign, Bloomington, Springfield, East St. Louis, all of us. It's going to be devastating. Andy Menard has been working on this for how many years, trying to get some kind of formula.
At least four.
At least four that makes sense to help schools, districts that are high poverty schools. And so we can no longer just sit around and say, just let them do what they're going to do. And the thing is, and we keep going through this, we keep electing the same people to these offices and expecting different results. Think about it. So, anyway, let's see.
Anything else? Oh, yeah, I mean, I think...
My comments would have to be censored. None of this surprises me.
You know, one of the questions that, you know, a lot of times the media will ask me is, well, what are you going to cut? And once again, 85% or a little beyond is tied up in salaries to our district employees and supporting the educators who teach our students. So, you know, that's not a cut that we can make. And anything else, the small little cuts are not going to really add up to making us be able to operate much longer. You know, so if you can't just say cutting this or that, you're going to maybe piece together a day or two of education. So it's important, but once again, a lot of school districts are going to fail in the meantime, and we're hanging on, you know, by a thread. Mr. Basco, is there anything else you'd like to add to it?
The both of you pretty much said it all.
Okay.
You know, the property tax freeze is very worrisome. The Medicaid would be another big hit. We paid, $700,000 in salaries out of that dollars. We'll just wait and see and just start preparing for what our options are should we get into October and nothing's been settled.
The number of dollars that we receive from our local property taxes generally is what per year?
This last year it was 94 million for our operating funds, and then another 7 million for our to repay bonds. So 101 million.
Okay, 101 million, so then we're talking about the amount in raw dollars that comes from the state aid.
Right at 40 million.
Think about that, folks, because the property tax reduction sounds really great. But you know what? Then you're going to lose about lots of millions of dollars, because you guess what's going to happen? The legislature's going to pay that. Yeah, you're going to have to depend on them to send the money to the school districts that's supposed to pay for that they're not sending now. With F and buts for candy and nuts. So this is probably the worst time I've seen.
So the superintendents of the, area have come together, and we've had several opportunities to speak on behalf of this. We just have three simple things: pass a budget, bipartisan manner, look at education reform, the way we're funding education in the state of Illinois, and pay the debt that you're owed. So the mandated categoricals, the word mandated means we should be getting it. And so, not having that money and always getting it in arrears and not being able to pay forward on that puts us all in a difficult time. So budgeting in an education system is definitely interesting, because most businesses know their revenue coming in before they create their budget, and we never do. And it's always like that, we're always backlogged. So on a positive note, I just want to say congratulations to Mr. Sanders, and thank you for all of the work you've done. I've said it before, you really are an important person in the system with kind of handling the day-to-day alongside me, and sometimes you brave some of the hardest phone calls, and I realize that, and you help me look for the facts and get down to the details so that we can make the right decision. So I thank you for the work that you've done, not only here, but as your service as an administrator in several roles across the district, and just you're a District 186 supporter through and through, and so I wish you much luck. You aren't going to get too far away. I know you'll still be around to give me a hard time, but I appreciate your work, so thank you very much.
Good. All right. We're going to move on to 8.1. Ms. Gill?
Okay, President Lopez and members of the board, I recommend approval of consent action items 8.2 through 8.10 as described in the corresponding resolutions.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, discussion? Okay, hearing none?
Just one moment, please. Handley?
Aye.
Lopez?
Aye.
Mars?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Zimmers?
Aye.
Flamini?
Aye.
That is 6 aye votes.
All right, 9.1, approval of personnel recommendations. Ms. Gill?
Okay, I'll be reading these tonight since Ms. Sherman is absent on vacation today. President Lopez and members of the board, I recommend adoption of the personnel recommendations as presented.
Second.
Do we have, we do have a speaker?
No, not
Oh,
that one.
oh, no.
So,
No, I'm sorry.
we have a speaker,
Yeah, I
so
apologize.
just wait one more.
Yep.
$101 million.
Yeah, discussion.
State?
All right, hearing none?
Lopez?
Aye.
Mars?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Zimmers?
Aye.
Flamini?
Aye.
Handley?
Aye.
That is 6 aye votes.
Okay, we voted on a new, he's not new, he's an intern in the district. Bryant Sanders is, we just voted on. He was currently an intern at Feitchens, and now he's going to be a principal assistant at Harvard Park Elementary School. So, Mr. Sanders?
Welcome, thank you. You've got some family with you today? You have some family you'd like to introduce today?
Yes, my
wife Lisa Sanders, my twins, Audra Sanders, my daughter, and Thorne Sanders, my son, who attends Jefferson Middle School, and an honor student, and she plays basketball.
All right. All right.
And I just want to say I appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to it, and it's a great opportunity to serve our district.
Thank you, Brent.
Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to 9.2, approval of resolution authorizing notice to remedy. Ms. Gill.
Okay, President Lopez and members of the board, I recommend approval of the notice to remedy with regards to the conduct of Mr. Aaron Graves, a teacher of this school district.
Okay, and we're going to go to speakers before the motion. We do have a speaker.
Mr. Graves?
Mr. Graves,
Come on up.
if you want to come on up, please. You have the podium here. Ms. Hammers will let you have 3 minutes. She'll let you know when time is up.
Can you tell me when the time begins? Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
You're good.
Until now, I've been a 20-year District 186 teacher and tireless advocate and product of the Springfield Public Schools. However, after this incident, my own organization has allowed me to face the Springfield Police Department, DCFS, and a grand jury via the state's attorney in an alleged child abuse neglect case. For the record, as this formal notice to remedy is recorded, I want to get a few things off my chest. I've had a 20-year spotless record as a teacher within this district, with the exception of an online lesson plan dispute with my current administrator at Grant Middle School. I'm also a veteran and a current officer in the Illinois Army National Guard, although my comments this evening do not represent those of that organization, but my own as a teacher and a citizen. I want it understood that although my actions, as viewed by the district, seem egregious enough to dock me 5 weeks of pay and serve me a notice to remedy, a formal notice that I can be fired for any assumed misconduct in the future, I did not harm any student, nor neglect or abuse any student, nor have I ever. Rather, I was trying to protect students from opening a fire escape door or doors and tumbling out onto the pavement. Tragically, nearly 6 months after I was placed on administrative leave, another Grant student jumped out of a moving bus. Fire escape to his death. As I've learned in the outside world, the educational circle, and the military, it's very easy to armchair quarterback, to critique one's person's actions and say, you would have done it differently. I think in this particular circumstance, I did not make the wrong choice, and I want it known that I do not agree with the outcome from the board as noted this evening. Next year, I look forward to returning to my position at Grant Middle School and to continuing my career as an educator with District 186. Hopefully, this particular incident will not tarnish my career to the point where I cannot be a successful educator in District 186 any longer. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none?
Hold on.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, sir.
What are we voting on here?
9.2.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Call roll.
Okay. Mars.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Zimmers.
Aye.
Flamini.
Aye.
Handley.
Present.
Lopez.
Aye.
That is 5 aye votes and 1 present.
Okay. Moving on, 9.3, approval of the resolution regarding designation of depositories.
This is a list of banks that we use, so it's a fancy way of saying it. Mr. Basco?
President Lopez, members of the board, the superintendent recommends approval of the designation of depositories as presented. Unless you want me to read them all.
Oh,
That's
no,
okay, there's
we're
25 of them.
plenty of banks. Was the total of 24?
24, I believe.
24 banks, so everybody knows. Okay. Motion? Second?
Second.
All right, discussion. All righty.
Moore,
Aye.
Zimmers.
Aye.
Flamini,
Aye.
Handley. Lopez.
Aye.
Mars.
Aye.
That is 6 aye votes.
Next meeting will be Tuesday, July 10th at 5:30 in the boardroom. Yeah, that's it.
Everybody have a happy 4th of July.
All right, dismissed.
Okay, 7:15. 7:14.